And boom, we're live.
That's
Boom,
your
we're live.
picture from the video?
Yeah.
I took that.
MMA Complete Podcast, episode
It's
49.
nothing. It's just funny.
We are live. What is it today? June 3rd.
Yes, sir.
We are 9 days
Mark,
away.
You look like you went to the army.
We are 9
Got a
days away
haircut.
from UFC 263. And we have a fight night coming up in 2 days. That means almost nothing.
Yeah.
10
days,
There's a couple fights coming up this weekend that are all right. Rosenstrike versus Sakai is the main event. That's all right. That's not a bad fight. I think Rosenstrike's going to win.
I agree.
Walt Harris versus Marcin Tibura is the co-main event. That fight's interesting.
I like Walt Harris, dude. I like, underdog.
If he doesn't gas, he will gas. If
He
it
will
goes-
gas.
if-
He
he'll gas.
will. It's not an if. It's just a when,
But this Sunday is Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather. And that's how I want us to open up the show.
Over, under 5 punches. And you all know what I'm going to say. Under.
I think he's over 5 punches
I think it's over.
Over.
for Logan,
Under.
but I don't know if they connect
Under.
Right.
like
I need
heavy.
punches. I don't even care if they're at the body. I need 5 good contact punches. Not a little skim or like a little brush. I need some punches.
Oh, shoulder.
Right, but I think if the over-under was that, it was just to touch. Logan Paul has a 6-inch height advantage, but only a 4-inch reach advantage. Right now,
That is kind of funky.
CBS has their weights at 145 and 195.
That's such a weight difference, but it's
Such a
boxing,
weight difference.
so it might play out a bit different.
It might play out a bit different in the fact that Logan Paul might gas out early. I don't think he's going to gas out early. I think it'll be towards round 7.
Yeah,
But
He's
that's what
gassing out
Floyd
early.
does. That's what Floyd does against everybody. We saw it against Conor. We saw it against Pacquiao.
much
Saw it
faster
against-
guys.
Everybody. Floyd just kind of plays around for the first 3 rounds. After, in like round 4 and 5, he'll start throwing some shots. And then around 6 and 7, he opens it up and puts a pace on people.
Yeah. But
And we saw it with Conor. Conor did the complete wrong thing you want to do. Conor came out strong and started the pace early
Oh
So
yeah.
Logan
and got
Paul's gotta
nothing
do
for
that.
it. And got nothing for it.
Oh yeah.
He landed some decent shots. Conor landed some shots
He
on
got a
Floyd.
good uppercut on Floyd.
did.
I remember.
he did. It's one of the only few times that Floyd's gone rocked.
But when you're gassed in round 6 and Floyd's like, I can go 12 more rounds.
Yeah.
Easily.
yeah.
Endurance and
Well, I think
speed monster. He's
Right.
fucking fast. His perception on punches coming is nuts.
yeah. My take on it is I think Logan Paul does gas early. I'm thinking round and a half, 2.5 rounds. This guy's getting gassed. He's been sparring. And he's in decent shape. He ain't no fucking pushover. But I think the pace that Floyd could put on him, it all depends on what he wants to do.
Right.
If whatever Floyd wants to do in that ring, he can do.
Yeah.
So
It's a lion's den.
It's
and he's
di-
with
it's
a lion, dude.
it's hard to catch your breath when you get punched in the face. Michael Bisping.
I just don't. I think that we're going to see the same thing from Mayweather. I think if Mayweather started to push the pace early, I think he would be just as fine, but I don't think he'll do that. I think that he will eventually start doing the pace, but I think it'll take him 2 rounds to do it because Logan Paul is going to try to hit him and he's going to waste energy.
Yeah.
So a big thing about Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul, everybody's like, oh, well, Logan Paul just needs to connect with that one big punch. And I'm like, Floyd Mayweather comes from a boxing gym where they have gym wars. He's been fighting dudes like that big since he was a kid.
Since he was a kid.
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather started boxing when he was 4 years
Look at his
old.
fucking dad.
Jesus.
Look at his
Floyd
grandfather.
Mayweather Sr., yeah.
The guy
Yeah,
doesn't even know how to
from
read.
a lineage of boxing.
Right.
The guy, he didn't even take the time to learn how to read. He just wanted to punch people in the face.
He learned the words 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Manny Pacquiao hit Floyd Mayweather with a left hook that sent everybody else Pacquiao had ever fought to the ground, and Mayweather barely stumbled.
The guy's never been punched in his career. There is no head trauma in that dude.
Mm-hmm.
Outside
Nothing.
of the gym.
Yeah, outside
you
of the
never know
gym,
with the
yeah.
boxing
Right.
games. They're
They-
fucking brawlers. In
You
there.
know, I watched a thing on him this weekend. No cameras ever allowed when he spars.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
When he's in the gym. You know
that
what I
could
mean?
totally fuck you over.
Yeah.
Something weird happens, you get caught.
Right.
Mm.
So I do have the rules
That
here.
would be a crazy documentary of Floyd Mayweather.
I have the rules for the fight.
And he will do that to make money.
No judges.
Yeah.
No official winner read out. Knockouts are legal, but they're up to the referee's discretion. So the
TKO.
referee has the ability to stop the fight.
So
But
there's
there's
no-
still no winners.
Hmm.
So what's the
No
point?
headgear.
Good.
10-ounce gloves,
Not 12 ounce?
not 12 ounce, 10 ounce.
That's better for Floyd.
It's way better for Floyd.
Anything's better.
eight-
Anything.
3-minute rounds, just 8.
Short, but still long enough to gas.
Yes, and maybe not, because we saw Connor gas in the 8th and then get stopped in the 9th. Logan Paul does not have the cardio that Conor McGregor had,
How
though.
does that fight go with Floyd if Connor only goes 8 rounds? I wonder if that if it
that was
only
an 8-round fight.
Yeah, like that's your whole training regimen. Everything's
I
different.
think
Everything.
Yeah, it is different,
How
but at the
you
same
approach
time,
the
I
fight.
think Floyd would have, because we just said Floyd started the pace in round 7. I think he would have started the pace in round 5 if it was only 8 rounds.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
You know?
No. Yeah. Well, I don't think it makes.
Here's
I don't
another
think It
thing.
makes Connor win.
Here's another thing.
I just think it
We
does
can
make a
say
difference.
for sure that Floyd's not stressing this. Floyd, he's like, this guy is hard hitting and he could hurt me, but I'm just gonna move out of the way. He's not worried about this fight.
I don't think so.
Let me
He's not
ask you
worried,
guys
but
this.
he's still in the gym.
Let me
7
ask you
days
guys
a week.
this. No official winners read out. First time Floyd has ever seen that.
That is weird.
No matter what happens, Floyd will leave that fight 50-0.
Yep.
No matter what happens. If he gets knocked the fuck out in round 1, 50-0 still.
Well, he's 49-0 with 1 win against Connor.
Right, but that was a professional
Yeah,
boxing bout, so
I
it's 50. Yeah.
guess, I guess. I guess.
Does Floyd kind of, do what he has to do to win?
So is it?
And
So if he walks, so he's 50-0 right now, right?
Yeah.
I just want to double check. He's 50-0 right now. If he walks out of that gym, it's either 51-0 or 50-0. There's no other.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what I think is. That's stupid.
But it is at the same time, it's not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he could get knocked out, but he's
To
not getting
people,
knocked
to
out.
the 80% of the population on Twitter, yeah, he would be 51-0. To everybody else, he'd be like, no, he's 50-0, and he had an exhibition with Logan, with a YouTuber.
I kind of agree with that.
Right. But what I was just saying, does Floyd maybe take it easy?
Like training wise?
No, like
in the fight.
in the fight.
Yeah.
No.
Like if he's winning on points in the 8th round, is he just still kind of bob and weave and just
No, there's
trying
no
to send it in?
point.
But by
I know
punches
there
landed
is.
is probably
Yeah.
what'll go
Which
off
means
of-
he does. Which means here's 2 ways of looking at it. 1, we know Floyd can finish Logan Paul. 2, Floyd doesn't want to get caught. God forbid he tries to finish the fight and Logan Paul hits a fucking uppercut and Floyd actually gets rocked.
Oh god.
Totally could happen.
Oh.
So
if
does-
his knees started wobbling,
so-
I would lose my fucking mind.
So does
I would
Floyd.
run everywhere.
So does
I would-
Floyd
I'd
kind
lose-
of?
You guys.
Does he
think
just
that-
make sure he's all right?
I think
Yeah.
he does. I think he takes the rounds he knows he can get
Right.
and then
Oh,
just
he-
floats.
He
And then-
absolutely has to play it safe.
Right. And that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
And that opens up to, oh, well, I beat you, but obviously there's no beat. So if you want to have a real boxing match, we can do it again.
Yeah, for the longer rounds.
It opens up for a second
Dude,
fight.
he could fight KSI.
KSI, I forget how big KSI is now. It's all the dystopian
Bro,
future we're living in.
KSI beat Logan Paul. People don't realize that. They drew the first time. KSI won the second
Controversial
time.
draw.
Logan
if you
Paul
wanna
is
call it that.
0-1-1 in amateur boxing. And he's fighting
Fighting
the greatest, one of the greatest boxers, the greatest boxer of our generation.
The greatest boxer of all time, and it sucks to say it, but the dude
Arguably.
is flawless, dude. There's no other fighter that's been that flawless. Look at Mike Tyson.
Sonny Liston.
Sonny Liston has a loss.
A very controversial loss.
Lost.
Very controversial. How about no?
Fucking
If you
the
want to
George
say,
Foreman,
bro,
lost.
Joe Lewis was
George
120.
Foreman has a cool story.
Joe Lewis
Yeah,
was
it is.
127-1. Like, can we say that he's not as good as Floyd? Muhammad Ali was something like 89-5. Can we say he's not as good?
He was the most influential boxer of all time.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
He wins the popularity vote by a fucking
How about fucking
it's-
Canelo?
It's,
Yeah,
How about
Canelo's on
Canelo?
his way, dude.
Canelo's
He's
what,
fucking amazing.
39-1, and his
He
only loss
lost
was to Floyd.
Yeah, that sucks.
you never transcend. You know, he'll always be number 2.
Floyd Mayweather has beaten a lot of good fighters. He's also beaten a lot of bad fighters. Floyd Mayweather, like we said, started off really young, and
Yeah.
he only got title fights when he was like 30-0. So he's had 20 big fights. And maybe 7 or 8 of them weren't against great people. So let's say he's had 12 great fights. Those 12 great fights are fucking great fighters. All right.
Yeah.
He's beaten Pacquiao, Conor, Canelo. He's beaten what's the Nigerian dude that was a super welterweight champ for a while?
I don't know. You started this. I have no idea.
Anyway,
Pacquiao, he should have fought him 5 years earlier.
I think he postponed that as long as he could.
Oh, yeah,
for
because
that reason.
Pacquiao would have fucked him up.
When he was on a
Fucked him
steamroller.
up. Pacquiao would have fucked him up 5 years earlier. I really think that.
but we never know now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
What
he's
if-
a
Never know.
fucking.
Anyway, that's my take on why Floyd isn't the
That's why
best
everyone
fighter of all
hates
time. That's what I was trying to say. I don't think he's the best fighter of all time. I think he's the best of our generation.
He's the best boxing. I don't know.
It's also, and this is where
Heavyweight's more impressive.
this
though.
is where boxing separates itself from UFC. I understand the difference in weight classes, obviously, and I understand that there's a reason that weight classes are in play because you don't want to see a 145er fight a 200-pounder. But when I think of best of all time for boxers, I always go to heavyweights
Yeah.
because I think that is the pinnacle of boxing.
So should you say? So there's a lot more great heavyweights than there are any other.
Yes and no, because you have.
More champion
Sugar Ray Leonard.
You
Right.
know what I mean?
I think Sugar Ray Leonard wasn't a heavyweight his whole career either.
No, yeah.
He was
fucking fast little bastard.
he was a middleweight for most of his career, I think.
Yeah.
I think-
And then you have the fucking going back to Joe Louis.
So who's the
You
great-
have the Pernell Whitakers.
Mhm.
You have all these guys that are just they're not as big in names because they're not heavyweight boxing. Because for so long, boxing was the biggest sport and everybody followed it, but everybody really followed heavyweight boxing.
Yeah. Who's the greatest heavyweight of all time? Then? You know, you ask yourself that instead of who's the greatest boxer.
It's
There's a difference.
I think it is
There is a difference.
Joe Louis, Muhammad Ali, and Mike Tyson. You can throw Evander Holyfield in there if you want to.
I'd have
You
to
know-
brush up on a lot of.
Yeah, this is definitely.
records and
I'm
shit.
I'm
It's a
definitely
little
missing
over-
some
I'd
people.
have to like make
Absolutely.
an Excel sheet.
I'd like to make that
Yeah.
clear. We are not boxing experts. We are MMA experts.
But fans.
MMA fans and
I would say
you
at this
know,
point we're kind of experts. Like not to fucking not to be that guy, but I think we're experts at this point.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan at heart. You know, I really got put into it doing this podcast. So yeah, like I'm a fan. I would not say I'm an expert
I've
at
got
all.
about a
I'm an
year's
amateur.
solid experience.
I'm a solid amateur, and because I love it, not because like I don't.
All right, we're gonna
Hate
take a
it.
quick commercial break. Make sure you tune in to MMA Complete every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Also go check out Bet the Deed podcast. Bet the Deed podcast every Thursday night at 7. Make sure you tune in June 12th and every other UFC pay-per-view, and we go live 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. We do for every UFC pay-per-view. So that's June 12th, this next Saturday coming up, MMA Complete, Naked Sports and Fans Only Sports. Boom, we're live. All right, so I want to talk about UFC. I want to go into MMA, but we have 2 more boxing fights that we got to talk about.
Yeah, all right.
hype
But
fights.
who? Yeah, or whatever. We'll save that for later.
The trilogy. The trilogy, maybe the biggest boxing trilogy of our time.
Of our time, fuck yeah.
Of our
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder.
It's not upsetting that it has to be because it'll really solidify a winner. And
Again, it's the heavyweight division though, so it just
Yeah.
takes precedence.
Can we back it up a little? Let's just say this fight wasn't even a thing a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
This fight. It was supposed to be Fury Joshua,
which I was looking forward to.
Yeah. So does this fuck up?
I think just for the record, I think Wilder's better than Joshua.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I'd say yeah, he's more intimidating of a force for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see. But
The fight will take place July 24th. Just
July
saying.
24th. It'll be Wilder Fury.
Damn, that was quick.
in
Got-
Las Vegas.
Took the court. Nobody, I didn't even really know it was at court. But like we talked about months ago before that
I don't think Fury
think
ever
he
went to
should've got-
court. I think it was a state athletic commission lawyer that partnered up with Deontay Wilder and went through the contract bylaws of because their first contract was for 2 fights. First contract was for 2 fights. And then he went in through the contract somehow. I actually have the lawyer's name here somewhere. I think it was ironically Joshua Weinstein, who partnered up with Deontay Wilder and his team and said that there was a clause if there wasn't 2 winners that there would have to be another fight.
Yeah,
and so,
right. But
so as soon as the Joshua Fury fight got scheduled, and that fight was scheduled somewhere in mid-May for August 14th. As soon as that happened, they sped up this process, and then I think it was the Nevada State Commission ruled that they didn't even say that Joshua Fury couldn't fight. All they said was Fury had to fight Wilder. September 15th, I think, was the date. They had to fight by then.
Damn.
And so Fury said, all right, well, I'm not going to have 2 fights in 3 months. So I'm just going to fight Wilder.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
totally
sure that
fair,
is the
Fury's part.
background of the legislative side of it.
Dude, this Wilder's not out of the fight, by the way. I think Fury is going to win, but like just Wilder's power and
We talked about this on Bet the Deed podcast every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Check it out, Naked Sports. We talked about it just earlier.
Love that. That was fucking fast.
The second fight. All right, so the first fight was fucking really even. It was really close.
It was.
And the 12th round of the first fight might be the best round I've ever seen in boxing. Not the best technical, but just from a fan's perspective. Holy shit!
Did we win? Did we watch that at Buffalo Wild Wings?
We watched the second one.
Oh, dude, that was so fucking.
The first one
that
in the
Oh,
12th
knocked
round,
down.
when Deontay Wilder hit him
Buffalo Wild Wings
twice,
for 6 hours.
right straight,
Yeah, and the
left
left
hook, dropped him, and down goes Fury.
He was out.
Mamma mia! What a knockdown for Wilder! And then it goes silent. He got up. He's up. And Fury's just like right in front of the ref, and then wins the round.
The funny thing is
That
Wilder's
was
amazing.
nuts.
Wilder's reaction. He's like, fucking
Yeah, he's
shaking
dancing, and then he just looks. He's like,
Oh my god, he's not human.
he's looking at him.
That's
Dude,
why-
Fury recovered. That was the strangest recovery ever.
Did you hear his
It was on the 6th count,
Mhm.
and then he just
gets
got
up?
up. And he didn't even stumble when he was up either.
No.
He went to straight
He
box.
jogged
Put his hands
after.
up.
Yeah.
He jogged to
jogged.
show the ref when his corner came back. The ref's like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, it was.
Did you
amazing.
hear what Fury says about that 12th round?
The coolest thing ever.
He was
Say
like,
it.
you knocked me down. You knocked me down in front of my friends, my family. If you think that I'm going to stay down, you're out of your mind. I'm going to come out and I'm going to beat your ass because you just embarrassed me in front of them.
Yeah.
And he did.
He did.
He did.
Dude.
And the shit he was saying, what he saw, he was saying the Gypsy King was calling me. Say I had to come to God.
But the
Fuck.
second
Said he
fight,
saw white.
is what we were just talking about in Bet the Deep podcast. Fury hit Wilder almost behind the head in the second round of the second fight, and it knocked him down, the first knockdown. And after that,
can
Wilder's
continue. You can-
equilibrium was fucked
Yeah,
up.
exactly. The spot, which we bet the
It wasn't a lucky
the
punch.
spot that he got hit.
right behind
And
there.
that spot, when you get hit in that spot in your brain, it fucks up your equilibrium.
I believe it.
It was like a whole doctor's
That's why you're not
report
allowed to
on
punch him
YouTube.
behind the head.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It is totally. If you watch the fight back,
Even if you get punched
the
in
ref
ear,
could have
it
taken
fucks
the
it.
point away, or the ref could have stopped the fight
Really.
because
the glove wasn't.
he hit him
just big
behind
enough?
the ear.
Oh.
Hit him behind the ear.
Mm.
It was like on the ear, but he made contact in the back of the head.
So his
But
equilibrium
it was on the
fucked.
opposite side of the ref. The ref was over here. He hit him with the left hook behind the ear.
So you could argue that the fight was kind of set early.
I don't know if I want
Because
to
of that
argue
punch.
anything because
I kind of do.
you
But no.
you totally can. But Fury was winning in the first round and a half, and then he dominated in the last 4 or 5 rounds. I think he got stopped in the 6th.
Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah.
pretty humiliating ending.
But I'm not even going to get into the fact that Deontay Wilder made 17 excuses after the fight.
There was so
That
much.
is
And
that,
didn't make any excuses about how he got hit in the back of the head.
Any-
That was the weirdest part. He made excuses about
I was
everything.
poisoned.
I was
Yeah.
poisoned. My
corner.
training staff
He's
fucked me up.
He's fired his
the
team. He
fucking
fired
the
his-
shit that I was wearing to the ring fucked me up. But he didn't say anything about how he got hit in the back of the head.
No.
It makes no sense to me.
why would you fire your team that you have gone 40-0 with? Why would you do that?
I think it was 39-0.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's close enough.
Right.
39-0. You're gonna just fire him because of one loss? What
Right.
about those 39 times?
So-
That blows my mind.
So-
who am I?
Here's the one take I have. I will go on record saying I think Tyson Fury will win. If you want to know what I would bet on Deontay Wilder, because there's a decent thing to bet on Deontay Wilder. Check out Bet the Deed podcast on Naked Sports. Here's why I think Fury's going to win. I was talking to you about this a little bit in the break of Bet the Deed.
Yep.
I don't know. Do you guys know Tyson Fury's like story, like his actual story?
Yeah.
So this guy became heavyweight champ by the time he was like 30, and then he had a serious fucking coke
Well,
problem.
he's 32 now.
All right, then 29.
Yeah.
He had a
It was
serious
when he
coke
was
problem.
younger.
And he vacated the heavyweight belt that he already won. He beat, the hell is that Russian, the heavyweight champ for so long? Klitschko. Was it Klitschko? I think it was.
It was Klitschko because I watched it
beat
the
him.
other day.
And then he got a drug problem and he went up to 400 pounds
Yeah.
in like a summer. Vacated the belt because of it. I think he had a bad drug test or something. And then he said that one night he almost killed himself. And then after that night,
Ferrari.
After that
200 miles per
night,
hour.
he rededicated himself. He got back into it. He rededicated himself from the point that he says, this is all Tyson Fury's perspective. The point that he says is he rededicated himself, and then 7 months later, he fought Deontay Wilder, and he went to 12 rounds. That is 7 months after you are 400 pounds, you have 12 rounds with the heavyweight champ.
Yeah, that's insanity.
A year later, he dominates the heavyweight champ because he's been training now for almost 2 years. Now he's been training again for like 4 years, and he's fighting Wilder again.
And he's only 32.
He's like 32, 30. I don't know if he's 32. I thought he was like 35, 36.
He's 32.
Okay.
I looked it up. We looked it up the other day, me and my boss.
I think that he might fucking dominate Wilder.
He might dance around him like he did in the second.
The problem.
Here's another part that I want to, and I'm sorry to cut you off. I apologize.
Go ahead.
We saw Tyson Fury come into the second fight like 35, 40 pounds heavier than Wilder. And that was a huge factor because he rested on him so much.
Mm-hmm.
The first 2 rounds, he was hugging him the whole time.
Oh, yeah, laying on him, sapping
Yeah.
that
The
weight.
first time he knocked him down, he was laying on him. Wilder's bitching at the ref. As soon as they get separated, he throws a jab that Wilder just kind of tucks into, hits him with the hook behind the head, and it was over.
Yeah.
I think he's going to do the same thing. I think Fury came into that fight at 290, and Wilder was like 250.
Mhm.
And I think that,
245.
and I think that is something that Fury can go 12 rounds at almost 300 pounds a year and a half after being 400 pounds. Like, this dude is something else. This dude is something
He's the
else.
Prophesized Gypsy King.
He's only been knocked down 3 times in his career. 1 time by Deontay Wilder in their first fight.
Mhm.
Or 2 times by Deontay Wilder in the first fight. He got knocked down twice.
That wasn't a trip. It was a knockdown.
I believe he got knocked down in the 10th, and then he got knocked down in the 12th.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the 10th, it was just he went to a knee, but it was a knockdown.
Yeah, it counts in boxing.
So the thing I say is he's been training for Anthony Joshua.
Mhm.
And now this fight was July 24th? We're talking 2 months. And it's only been scheduled for 2 weeks.
Mhm.
You're training a whole different fight. I mean, you can get in a full training camp, but
I think boxing's a little different than UFC in that way, in that you don't have to train for someone stylistically.
The only difference is the height. Because the height in Wilder, he's taller than Joshua by,
Mhm.
2 or 3 inches?
Mhm.
And I think he might be training for more overhands instead of hooks, which Wilder will be able to throw.
Do you know if Joshua's a orthodox or southpaw?
That's a good question.
Wilder's orthodox.
that's not your phone.
Yeah, no.
That would be something that you could
Wi-
see a training
Yeah.
regimen change.
Wilder's 6'7", Fury's 6'9".
That's nuts. That's,
Mhm.
Yeah, I know,
No,
right?
I know it is.
You know, my boss is gonna
I'm
bet
pretty sure they're the 2
10 units
biggest
on it.
heavyweight champions ever.
he's putting 10 units on Wilder.
Here's what I'll say about Wilder.
he's orthodox as Anthony Joshua.
Is he okay? Here's what I'll say about Wilder. He didn't get the nickname Bronze Bomber for no reason. I think he's 39-0 before Fury, and I think he got 37 knockouts.
Oh yeah.
Man knocked out everybody before the 8th round. Everybody.
Yeah,
he could, and he already dropped Fury twice. Now,
his number.
I've said my piece about Fury has gotten more training and he's getting better. I think, in my opinion, I think Fury's getting better.
Yeah.
And I think Fury's head movement is ridiculous.
It is.
You see him with that
One of the
shit
best.
all
big,
the
for how
time.
big he is, it's insane that he can almost move like Muhammad.
And the fact that he got knocked down and he was like, fuck this, I'm getting up and I'm beating your ass. If he can do that again, I think Fury's going to win.
Yeah.
But Wilder definitely can knock out Fury's lights.
Oh, yeah.
100%. He could do it. He could knock him out cold.
So there's a trainer that Wilder that had a press conference.
I'm getting sweaty.
From my boss.
Excited.
The trainer came out and said all Wilder has been doing since he's lost that fight is eat, sleep, and train 12 hours a day.
Mhm.
That's the only thing that he has done. This motherfucker
He only
is-
sleeps for
eats.
about 4 hours per day.
Yeah.
No,
Fucking
if
just
he only
train-
sleeps for 4 hours a day, I'm betting on Fury.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm fucking around.
But this dude is fucking hungry. Like what is he? If he loses this fight to Fury, what does he have? He's older. I mean, like, what is he gonna
I
fight?
think
Joshua?
he'll be more determined. I think you're right in what you're saying. Like, he's totally determined for Fury.
He is so fucking determined. I think he has more of a reason. He has more to lose in this fight than Fury does.
I
And that's-
disagree
And
because
that's-
Fury's still undefeated.
Fury can unify, right? He's
yeah, he can.
No, Fury did unify.
No, if he
No,
beats
he beats
Joshua,
Joshua.
if he beats Joshua, he unifies
Oh,
the belt.
that's right. That's
The
right.
last person to do that is Tyson,
Um,
and he's named after Mike Tyson. Just saying.
That's fucking nuts. That's cool.
Right. So I'm gonna stick to my opinion. I do think Wilder has more. Wilder has a whole career to lose. You know,
I
Fury
think-
just
I
has a
think-
couple belts. You know, I
I think
Fury
Fury
has fights
Fury loses
even after he loses.
the opportunity to become a legend, though.
that's what I'm saying.
Like,
He does not. No, because he could always go back and fight Wilder again. That's what I mean. If Wilder wins, they can still fight.
yeah, but I don't think he does.
No, they can still fight another fight. You know what I mean? It's. What are you looking up here?
I'm looking up
Gypsy
the
King.
fact that apparently Fury is 30-1, but I think that one is the draw.
I thought he had one loss. Well, we did the watch bet the deed.
He has 0 losses. He has 1 draw. Okay, that makes sense. And it was Vladimir Klitschko.
That was oddly listed.
Yeah, see, I know what I'm talking about sometimes. But yeah, I do. I Wilder has his whole career to lose, and
Deontay Wilder's 42-1-1.
yeah, like
What's Joshua's record?
It's like 24th.
if Wilder wins, that 4th fight is the biggest boxing fight in a very long time.
Wilder wins.
If Wilder wins, that 4th one is a fucking.
Anthony Joshua's 24-1, and he only lost to Ruiz Jr.
Oh yeah, that was the
That was the biggest upset in boxing
Same
in like
thing
25
happened.
years.
Equilibrium.
Since like Tyson lost to Buster Douglas. It was literally like the
Like,
biggest upset since then.
He destroyed Joshua's body, and but Joshua didn't take it seriously.
came in
Something
at
like
short
that, yeah.
notice too.
Yeah,
Came
he
in
did.
at short notice.
Who's this little fat guy?
Dude, the
Fuck with me.
Guatemalans at work, because that guy's from there. They were fucking going insane the next day at work. They're like,
Mhm.
"Did you fucking see that fight?"
All right,
Nope.
we're going to take another
That's
commercial
your
break.
hero right there.
We're going to take another commercial break. We only got 20 minutes to talk about UFC, and then we're going to end with the other boxing match. So you're watching MMA Complete every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Make sure you check out our UFC pay-per-view live stream, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, June 12th, where we'll be live streaming 8 to 1 p.m. for UFC 263. And we're back.
Oh my god!
Boomer live.
Don't do that.
No, we can go over an hour. I don't want to
Yeah.
go too much over that.
Is there scheduled one
No,
after
there's no
this?
one behind us anymore. Carbone Jr.
Love it.
doesn't do it anymore.
No, you left.
Yeah,
Why?
a while ago. So we are about to talk about UFC 263.
We've been playing their ads.
No, we haven't. UFC 263 coming live in 10 days, 9 days.
It's 10 days, I think. 10
No,
days.
it's 9. It's 9.
And
Friday,
Yeah,
Saturday
it's 10.
week.
Yeah.
Main evented by Israel Adesanya versus Marvin Vettori. Before we get into it,
You know, man.
I want to throw out the main card out there real quick, just so we can get all the names on there.
Oh, yeah.
Opening up the main card at 10 p.m. on June 12th is Jamal Hill versus Paul Craig, light heavyweight bout.
Paul Craig.
Woo.
Jamal Hill is the heavy favorite.
Yeah.
Heavy.
I got Paul Craig.
Second fight in the main
The
card
sprinkle is
is
interesting. when he's
Bilal Muhammad versus Damian Maya. They can hear that. They can still hear that. Damian Maya versus Bilal Muhammad.
And
Bilal
old
Muhammad
Damian
is
Maya.
the
An old Damian
old
Maya.
Maya. Old Damian Maya. But Bilal Muhammad he's all right.
Yeah.
Damian Maya, if it goes to
say
the
what you
ground,
say.
if it goes to the ground, Damian Maya should have that all day.
The sport's just evolved so much that like all these dudes we say that about, like Jacare, even he
Right.
just got
I was just
jujitsu.
gonna exactly. The third fight is Nate Diaz versus Leon Edwards.
One of the probably just as big as the main event.
The co-main event is the rematch of
It's
the
a
fight of
5-round
the
fight,
year
too.
last year. Yes, that is true. Leon Edwards, Nate Diaz, 5-round fight.
5-round fight.
The co-main event is the rematch of the fight of the year of 2020, which is the flyweight championship between reigning champion Davison Figueiredo versus number one contender Brandon Moreno.
That's gonna be awesome.
No one's talked about that
No one's
fight.
talked about it.
We discussed that too. Like,
And
that
the main
fight's got
event-
no hype.
Main event is the middleweight championship, where we see the returning Israel Adesanya after his first MMA loss to rematch Marvin Vettori from over 2 years ago.
The fighter gave him some trouble in the first fight.
Before we say anything, this is a fact that we've glossed over.
Yep.
Robert Whittaker got leapfrogged,
He did.
and I'm still not happy about it.
No.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
I
Because he's proven himself.
he turned it down, I get it, but like he still deserves his rematch. He had that belt.
Absolutely.
Like and
He was
he's
the
good.
champ for 3
He's-
years.
Proved himself. What, he's
Right.
won 3 fights now?
Till Cannonier
And Gastelum.
Gaslam.
Yeah, and 3
That's
fucking
impressive wins,
big
dude.
wins.
Yeah.
Those are big wins.
Big
That is-
wins.
that
He didn't
is
finish
solid.
any of them, though. That's the thing. But
No.
Marvin Vettori hasn't been finishing people either.
No, he just kind of
Marvin Vettori beat Jack Hermanson, and then he beat a bigger name in Kevin Holland. And the reason Vettori's getting the rematch is because Adesanya beat Vettori by split decision. I believe, I could be wrong, that is the only split decision in Adesanya's MMA career.
The Kevin Gastelum fight or the Whittaker? I'm sorry.
The Vettori fight.
Vittori? Oh, okay.
Commence.
The commence?
Let's
Okay.
go.
All right,
You can go,
so
you
you
can
guys
go.
got your pick for
Mhm.
Adesanya.
Mhm,
Yeah.
And
mhm.
you think what? He's just going to outstrike him on the feet?
Yes.
I can see that happening. I really can.
Can
I got
fuck up his
Vettori because I believe Vittori's been working nothing
What's
but
the score of everyone's
takedowns,
game?
and his striking can only get better, which honestly, in the Adesanya fight, it was unorthodox, but it wasn't the best.
Right.
Like, when he was landing, it's not like he was landing with like crazy power or
Mhm.
anything. He was just landing. He was getting significant strikes.
Yeah.
But I think that unless Adesanya has been doing nothing except for takedown defense, Marvin Vettori outweighs him significantly. And I think that could be a big factor in getting those takedowns.
I think you're right, because there was a report that came out about their weights, not at the weigh-in, but when they fight at middleweight.
Yeah.
Adesanya comes into the ring day of the fight at 192, and Marvin Vettori's like 207.
Yeah, it's
15-pound difference is pretty big.
that is big.
Yeah, it is, especially with what we saw. Well, with completely different division.
Way bigger weight
Yeah.
advantage that fucking
Blackowicz had like
yeah.
32 pounds.
Yeah.
So that's another point. You can't put too much on the weight for this one
Yeah.
because it's closer, but I think it'll have effect, especially since Vettori is an endurance monster. He did not fucking get tired in that last fight or his most recent fights.
Came in on a week notice against Jack Hermanson and went 5 rounds with him and didn't gas and
Yeah.
beat him.
And that's big to think about. Now that he's got
Wrestled Jack Hermanson.
time to prepare for Adesanya.
Yeah.
And I could see this fight, if he can't get down Adesanya, I could see this fight going Adesanya by decision. But I personally think Vettori.
I think Adesanya finishes Vettori before the 3rd round.
Okay.
I
he
think
has to.
I think
I cannot see him winning on the
Adesanya-
ground.
I want to say Adesanya knocks him out in the first round. I think Adesanya. I could barely see him losing to Blachowicz. I cannot see him losing 2 in a row. He went up a weight division and he got caught and he got wrestled by someone heavier who just laid on him the whole time.
Big fucking huge dude.
A huge
guy. I will give it to Blachowicz in the fact that the stand-up battle was almost even.
Yeah, he was very good.
Adesanya, I think, beat him stand-up, but it was almost even. Blachowicz got really close.
That added weight makes such a difference on the ability to eat punches because he was eating some of Adesanya's blows.
Absolutely.
That would have fucking taken out of middleweight.
I think that, one, the reach advantage for Adesanya is significant. I believe it's 4 or 5 inches.
Yep.
2, Marvin Vettori got, I'm not going to say rocked because he wasn't like stumbling, but he got hit with a couple combos by Kevin Holland that were pretty like, oh.
Yeah,
but then Vettori just took him to the ground. Here's the thing. I don't like it. Marvin Vettori dominated Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland came in on a week notice. And Kevin Holland is, say what you want about Adesanya's wrestling, Kevin Holland is not as good of a wrestler as Adesanya.
No.
Kevin Holland can't wrestle for shit.
I'd say Adesanya's takedown defense in wrestling, like, I'd say he's kind of as good as Conor.
Been training with DC,
I would agree.
Yeah,
I would agree. It's similar.
Look. Yeah.
It's stand-up fighters who have been training wrestling as a backup.
He does the butt scoot and everything.
You're never going to be as good as a wrestler, but depending on how much you train, absolutely. Right.
You get to know a little more than the basics, but be a master of the basics.
Here's something that I would say. If Marvin Vettori could not finish Hermanson or Holland, didn't finish either one, decisions, both of them, I don't see him finishing Adesanya.
I think his styles were different. That's the only reason I don't think he finished. Like on the feet, I don't see him finishing Adesanya. No dice.
I don't see him finishing him on the ground either, though.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
I don't either. I just think it's a very uncomfortable for Adesanya on the ground.
I think it'll be a
very
uncomfortable.
I think that we see. I think that we see a round that Vettori wins because he's controlling him for 3.5 minutes. I don't doubt that, but I also see Adesanya hitting him with a combo, rocking him, and then stuffing a takedown, and then rocking him again.
Beautiful head kick. Question mark.
I can see him with a fucking uppercut hook combo.
Yeah, something.
By the way, can we talk about the greatest combination I've ever seen? The greatest 2 combination I've ever seen is Adesanya on Derek Brunson. I don't know if you guys saw this, but how he knocked out Derek Brunson. He fucking left lead roundhouse kick to Brunson. As his foot's coming down, he has a left jab.
Mm-hmm.
None of us are Muay Thai or kickboxing experts, but if you can just imagine how it is to put your leg all the way up there and then as it's coming down, connect with the jab in that quickly, it is so ridiculous.
That's amazing.
And Derek Brunson falls down.
Yeah.
See
you tomorrow.
It's crazy. I think Adesanya's been my guy for a while. Dylan's watching right now. I'm pretty sure it's been his guy for a while. I think Adesanya wins. Mark's got Vettori.
I could see it happening for Adesanya, but the way Vettori's been fighting lately,
absolutely.
If his game plan goes through, Adesanya's going to get smothered.
He's going to be in trouble.
Yeah, and I don't want to watch that. By the way, I don't want to see that.
Can a guy win by decision against the champion?
Yeah. It's just sometimes it gets favored more if it's close for the.
I'm pretty sure the last time we saw it was Usman versus.
Because he ain't outscoring him on the feet. So
lost 5 rounds.
Takedowns.
Right, but if Vettori takes him down for every single round,
every single round, that's dominant. Yeah.
All right, co-main event: Davison Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno. We got to hurry up a little bit.
Okay, Figueiredo. If it's true that he went to the hospital, had all that shit done to him, he was sick, can still go 5 rounds, and he should have won that fight if he didn't kick him in the
balls,
nuts.
Yeah,
he won the fight if that happened.
One of the worst groin strikes I've ever seen.
He was
in the
coughing.
UFC. I was worried he was going to throw up.
He front kicked him.
Yeah,
it wasn't like he landed underneath the groin.
Yeah,
he front kicked him right in the junk.
Direct hit.
Yeah,
direct hit, bullseye.
Almost like he was aiming for it, but he wasn't. It just happened.
He won the fight. Not win the fight. In quotes, he did not win the fight. So. Great I don't know. I think
such a great fight.
I'm gonna go with Figueiredo still, dude. Even though I like Moreno and the numbers interesting, but what do you think? I like Figueiredo.
What do you think, Mark?
I got short, sweet Figueiredo by knockout, honestly. TKO. Moreno was great, but I
You
don't
like
think
TKO, huh?
Yeah, I like TKO. And I just don't see Figueiredo coming in off a draw after he's been so dominant, happy with a draw. He's coming out with a fucking fire. And Moreno, I'm not sure how much he can improve above Figueiredo. That's my take.
I don't see how much better he could get in that. Well, he could obviously get better, but I don't. Moreno was so good in that fight. How can he do better?
I have a
Well, he had a broken arm too.
prefix, summary, and suffix for this explanation I'm going to give.
Whoa.
Let us hear it.
Prefix is that I'm going to play devil's advocate because Dylan's not here and Dylan's going for Moreno. So I'm going to say why I think Moreno could win.
Okay.
One, this goes for both of them, but both of them in their first fight had a fight 3 weeks earlier. Literally, the main event and co-main event of the pay-per-view before their first fight was Figueiredo Moreno. And they both won in the first round, in the first 3 minutes. So I think that they weren't at their best. And I think we're going to see an even better fight this time. Calling it. Just saying. Here's something else. Figueiredo might be the best flyweight we've seen since Demetrius Johnson. Figueiredo has not lost to anybody.
Is this you talking now, not for Dylan? Are you still?
Well, I'm
talking for Dylan?
going to say this, and then I'm
Oh.
going to say why I think Moreno could win.
Oh,
Figueiredo beats everybody. Figueiredo has no weaknesses. Figueiredo is great on the ground. We saw him submit 3 people, including Joseph Benavidez.
Yeah.
We saw him go 5 rounds with Brandon Moreno in one of the most entertaining fights. And we saw Davison Figueiredo land some great leg kicks in that first fight, which I think is really interesting.
yeah.
Here's what I think.
Before we go on to Moreno, I want to ask you a question. And you too. How much do you think Figueiredo weighs when he goes
into the all right? So they weigh in. They weigh in at 125. I think he goes into that octagon at 150.
I'd say around there, yeah.
That's a big like fucking 150, 155.
Yeah.
Dude. Like that guy looks like a fucking light heavyweight.
Here's why I think Brandon Moreno could win.
He does.
Brandon Moreno is tough as balls. All right. Brandon Moreno won 5 rounds with Figueiredo. He got kicked in the nuts in round 3 and then won round 3 and round 4. If you go back in the tape, you can check. He won round 3 and 4. And then Figueiredo won round 5.
Yeah.
Brandon Moreno is underrated. He's a Division I wrestler in his collegiate days. He's a good wrestler. And he landed some nasty shots on Figueiredo in rounds 3 and 4.
Okay.
Rounds 3 and 4, after he got kicked in the nuts, he almost finished Figueiredo at one point.
That was the late
He
switch.
rocked Figueiredo. He rocked Figueiredo. I also think that, everything good has to come to an end at some point. And I think that Brandon Moreno is the second best flyweight in the world. So if anybody's going to beat Figueiredo, it's going to be Moreno. There's this other guy, Askar Askarov, which we saw his fight a couple months ago. I don't know if you remember. He's 13-0. He's the number 2 contender. All right, so that's my Brandon Moreno spiel. I think Brandon Moreno has a really good chance, and I think that he's such an underdog that I think people are not realizing that. I think this fight's going to go to a decision again.
I'm surprised the number is as far away as it is.
All right, so here's my suffix. Davison Figueiredo is going to win by unanimous decision. Like you said, unanimous decision. Like you said, he was coming in after being in the hospital, and he should have won the fight if he didn't kick him in the nuts.
Very true. Very true.
He did kick him in the nuts one time and got a point taken away right away.
Didn't he do 2 eye pokes
It was
first
bad,
or something?
I think it was 1 eye poke.
1 eye poke first, yeah.
In the it was a terrible. So I'm not going to give shit to the ref, but normally you see a groin
warning?
strike and then a warning. But no, there was no warning, point deduction.
Yeah, well, that dude.
I got Davison Figueiredo, and I'm not too worried about it.
No, I think I agree.
I agree.
I just wanted to throw that out there because I know Dylan would have said something about Moreno.
Yeah.
It's a tough
It's a good
that's
point.
for sure.
It's a good point to bring up.
Here's the big one, boys.
Oh, man.
Here is arguably the most controversial betting line we've seen in UFC in a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it right now. I think Nate Diaz wins this fight.
Really?
I'm saying it right now.
He's riding the Diaz dog.
Oh man.
Here's why I'm saying it. Nate Diaz, we know, is a fucking cardio god. We know that.
Yeah, and he doesn't let his opponents breathe.
He doesn't let his opponents breathe.
That's
Leon
what you're seeing
Edwards
Yep.
has not had a win in 2 years in the UFC.
No, he just true. Well,
No, it was a
Muhammad,
draw.
It was a draw. Yeah. It was a technical.
And it was a short fight.
It was a short fight.
Yeah.
Leon Edwards is the number 3 ranked fighter, and everybody just saw how he had a fight, and he is, a top ranked fighter, and he's in the media way more than Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz hasn't done shit promotion for this fight.
Yeah.
You haven't seen Nate Diaz's face. I think if Leon Edwards were to take that 2-year hiatus, not fight Bilal Muhammad, and come back to fighting Nate Diaz, I think the odds would be much closer. Much closer. The odds right now, which if you want to know the odds, check out Bet the Deed podcast every Thursday night at 7 p.m. I think if you checked out those odds without the Bilal Muhammad fight, it would be very close to like fucking even. I really do.
Me too. I don't know why it's that far either. It does not make sense. It doesn't.
Nate Diaz is older.
Yeah.
Nate Diaz is like 37,
He's much
and
older,
Leon
he's
Edwards is
much more
29.
weathered too.
29.
Diaz has been through only wars.
Let me ask you guys this. What is the difference between Leon Edwards and Conor McGregor?
Better wrestling. Leon Edwards.
Maybe better kicks too.
I don't even know if I'd go that far. I think Conor has some good kicks.
Yeah, Conor's kicks are. He's gonna come.
If he brings them back,
let me change this.
Yeah,
let me change
we
this.
haven't seen a
around.
kick from.
What's the
Conor
difference
in a
between
long
Leon
time.
Edwards now and Conor McGregor in 2017 when he fought Nate Diaz?
I stand by what I said.
Better wrestler.
Yeah.
Nate Diaz went 5 rounds with Conor. He went 5 rounds with Conor the second time, lost, but he choked out Conor the first time.
Yeah.
Right? I don't see much of a difference between Leon Edwards and Conor. Therefore, as long as Nate Diaz has been training, which again we don't know because we haven't seen shit from him. As long as Nate Diaz is training,
He's been training every day.
I see this fight going to a decision, 5-round decision, first of all.
I could see that.
And I see Nate Diaz winning the 4th and the 5th round. That's why I say that I think Nate Diaz can win.
If Edwards gasses out on fucking takedowns and doesn't hold him enough, like it lets him up, that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a nice dog.
That's a really nice
Dude.
dog.
It could go higher.
It
could
changed
go
today.
high.
Check out Bet the D.
Leon Edwards hit the fucking mark.
I can show him.
Like
Yeah.
the cap. Whoa.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's insane. It should not be that far.
Diaz is like a hair away.
That's some questionable Vegas.
A
shit.
hair away.
Yeah, because they don't want people to bet on him, dude.
They don't want
They
people to
look
bet
at
on
that.
Edwards.
They look at that number and they're like, "Holy
They
shit!"
really think Edwards is gonna win. And I was the big fan. Like remember when Leon Edwards versus Chimaev was a thing?
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I
but
was really looking.
Remember when that was a thing?
Yeah.
I was a big fan of Leon Edwards is gonna fuck him up.
Putting him in his place.
I also think Nate Diaz would fuck up Chimaev.
I think so too. I think Chimaev is a hype train, and I think he's a good hype train. But
We're not gonna get into Chimaev right now. We don't have time
we've
for
had
it.
enough
We
Chimaev.
don't
You
have
can
time.
check
I'm
out
on
the
the
old
hype.
episodes
I'm
of
on the
MMA
hype
Complete
train.
Podcast.
The,
All right.
the dude needs to make an appearance soon, though, before he gets lost.
All right, so we got like we're pushing an hour. So we got 2 more fights we got to talk about real quick. Bilal Muhammad versus Damian Maia. I think Bilal Muhammad is going to win,
I
but
agree.
I think that Damian Maia could go for submission. Bet the Deed podcast. I didn't say it, so I'm going to say it now. I would take Damian Maia by submission for sprinkles. Jimmy's.
I like that, and I would.
I'm actually going to look that up
I would
right now.
sprinkle that too.
What do you
Sprinkle
think?
Some of that.
Bilal
Because-
Muhammad, Damian Maia. What do you think?
Yeah, I got Bilal Muhammad.
Yeah, I got Bilal. Yeah, I do. Because
I like
I
the
think Bilal
sprinkle
Muhammad
submission.
is younger. He's
You just-
much more.
What
No,
do
I
you
said I
mean?
would sprinkle on Maia by submission,
That's
but
what
I
you
think
said.
Muhammad's going to win.
On Bet the Deed, you said Maya.
No, I was talking about how it would be good to
No,
parlay.
No, you said Damian Maya.
No, I
Maya
didn't.
by
I said
submission.
Muhammad.
No, we can watch
Yeah. Okay.
it.
Want to know what I had to deal with today? My barber lost some money on Chris Weidman's leg break, and
Oh,
he still gave me a good haircut.
Did
so
he?
thank
That's
you.
good. Thank
But-
God. It is a nice haircut.
But I walk in and he's like, "Yeah, I was gonna bring it up, but then you did," and I'm like, "It is what it is."
Sorry,
did you tell
man.
him?
It's what it
Did you
is.
tell him about us though?
Yeah, did you tell him that
like-
we lost more money
Yeah,
than
I
he
said
did?
that. Yeah, I was like, everybody lost on Weidman.
Dude, I had him on 15 tickets.
Oh, they don't have the prop bets up
I
yet.
had him on 15 tickets, dude. Oh, what?
All right, so we all got Bilal Muhammad. Jamal Hill versus Paul Craig. Jamal Hill is 8-0. Paul Craig is like 14-3. Jamal Hill is the heavy favorite, and he's like 2-0.
I've got Paul Craig. I think that's a good
I'm
number.
gonna look up Jamal Hill's
Sprinkle
record
on
real
Paul
quick.
Craig, just because it's a really good number.
Is it?
Yeah.
It is a pretty good record.
And it's the first fight of the main card. Too.
Jamal Hill knocked out
Ooh, that's a
Oven
good
St.
number.
Preux in the second round.
Paul Craig could submit him. That's what I said on Bet the Deed.
That's his thing.
Triangle choke.
Yeah, and all KOs are by Jamal Hill. A couple decisions, a couple KOs by Paul Craig.
Paul Craig just beat Mauricio Hua. Paul Craig has no significant wins. He beat Magomed Ankalaev. That's pretty significant by this triangle choke. Lost to Jimmy Crute. Lost to Alonzo Mainfield.
In the last second of the fight.
Mm-hmm. Tapped him. I believe that's Ankalaev's only loss, right?
Yeah, he's going
15-1.
fuck
Yeah.
people up. And yeah, we're not going to get into that guy, but it's I think. But well, we can just say Khabib's prodigy there that he coaches. Nobody wants to fight him. I guess Dana White said.
What's his name?
Oh, that's the lightweight.
Is Islam Makhachev?
Islam Makhachev.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you shouldn't get a choice like that. Guy's coming up, and you either lose your ranking or you fight him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the UFC doesn't work like that though, because the UFC wants to promote their
No,
big
it's-
fighters. They wouldn't drop them like
it's
that.
new UFC. That's what it is.
Nobody
Old
wants
UFC
that.
used to
I don't
be
think
like
it is
what,
new
very,
UFC.
very true.
I don't think it is new UFC. I think it's the same old shit.
I think they will uprank that guy. No one wants to fight him.
Dude,
That's a
he's the
fucking
he's
reason.
the next
There's a
big
reason.
thing for Russia and Dagestan.
What is he right now? I think he's like 8th in the lightweight. We're gonna
Yeah, he's
we're gonna
Seventh or
talk
eighth?
about this, and then we're gonna get into our last.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to bring it up because I knew we were going to talk.
I think
about
he's like 8th or 9th in the lightweight, but he might even be lower.
He's up there, which is kind of crazy.
But like, who's gonna
it.
fight him?
Nobody.
He's
Nobody in the top. He said five
Hooker.
people. He said five.
Dan
people.
Hooker does not want to
Said
fight
no.
Makhachev.
No, he doesn't.
Rafael dos
That'd be a
Anjos.
good mix.
I don't want to see Tony versus Makhachev. I don't want to see Tony versus Makhachev.
Tony should get Dan Hooker.
Islam Makhachev versus Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler.
I would
is-
like to see Dos
Dana
Anjos
White's
versus
bitch.
Makhachev.
Yeah,
I think
that'd
that
be
would
a
be a
good
good fight. Michael Chandler versus Makhachev would be a great
I
fight.
would like that fight.
Gaethje versus Makhachev would be a great fight.
Gaethje
Mike
doesn't want
Chandler
that fight,
versus
though.
anybody.
Gaethje don't deserve that fight. Gaethje should be fighting for the belt next. And if he doesn't,
I
I'm
agree.
pissed off.
I agree. But here's the thing: if Poirier knocks out McGregor, then Poirier's getting the belt.
Kamara Usman needs to fight Kobe Covington
It
too.
is what it is. Bro, Dana White
Yeah, he
announced
does.
that.
He needs
Dana
to.
White announced that Kobe Covington's next in line for the title.
Good, because he deserves it.
And then right after that, Kobe talked shit about how he'd never fight Jorge because he's not on his level.
And
Yeah.
Kamaru Usman's like, I'd consider giving fucking Jorge a third fight.
Uh,
It's like, you got all these other good fighters lined up.
by the way, the Ultimate Fighter is going to start in like the next 3 weeks. So that's
Who's-
something to keep in track.
Brian Ortega and
Ortega Volkanovski.
Yeah, we should definitely.
We'll talk about that next week for sure. Last thing we want to talk about today, MMA Complete. Check us out every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Check out the UFC pay-per-view live streams we do for every UFC pay-per-view, which we're going to be doing June 12th, this next Saturday, not this Saturday, 8 to 1 o'clock. Tyron Woodley versus Jake Paul.
oh boy,
Oh boy,
let's
here we go
T. Wood.
again.
Let's go T. Woody.
Well, we both
The
thought,
chosen one.
we've both said Jake Paul's going to win all his
The
fights.
chosen
Yeah.
one.
I think T. Wood.
The
Yeah?
chosen
I
one.
think
T.
so.
Woodley.
I'm hoping. I'll listen to his rap album.
It
If he
no,
wins.
no.
We'll listen to
Don't
his
listen.
rap
It's
album
not
and
that
stuff,
serious. It's
celebration.
not that serious, guy. It's.
I'll become
Have
a
you ever
fetch.
listened to Tyron Woodley rap?
I'll
so
beat
bad.
your ass.
I tried to, but I couldn't get through it.
Jake Paul's gonna knock out Tyron Woodley.
Jake Paul is going to knock out this dude, and it's sad to say.
I don't want it to happen.
How about this? How about
He's got more
this
skill
fight
in
is gonna
boxing.
end by a knockout? How about we say that?
Yeah, I agree with that.
How about we say that? Tyron Woodley
I don't think it does
has
that.
I think it's safe to say my mom has a tougher chin than Tyron Woodley right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. She
Tyron
probably
Woodley
eat a
is
couple
40 years old and has been getting knocked out by Gilbert Burns, Vicente Luque,
Okay, yeah.
and Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington beat the fuck out of him for his last 4 fights.
Five-
He's lost
five-
4 fights in a row.
Yeah, 15 straight rounds or something was it? He's lost.
Some shit like that, yeah.
But that's
Tyron Woodley
Respect to him. though.
is, I don't want to say
Champion.
a clone, but is fucking close to a clone of Ben Askren. We were talking about this outside.
tougher.
He's a wrestler.
He got didn't he get his
He has,
belt via
he
knockout?
has stronger punches.
Yeah.
He's knocked people out. I'm not saying he hasn't. But when you have the aspect of he could take me down or he could level change into a strike, it's different.
Yeah, totally.
Jake Paul is an okay boxer, and it hurts me so much to say that. You can
He's
see the
better than
pain.
average.
You can see the pain on my eyes. He's a decent boxer. I'd argue he's a better boxer than Logan, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying.
Oh yeah. Floyd
Um,
doesn't want to.
Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley could catch Jake Paul. Tyron Woodley has more power than Jake Paul.
Jake Paul's got
Paul
precision.
might be the better boxer than Tyron Woodley.
He's got good precision, man. He really does.
He does. And he
This is
knows
it's
his timing.
smart. It's smart for Jake Paul. He's calling out big names, wrestlers that can kind of box.
No,
That's what he's doing.
Yeah,
exactly
this is
what
his
he's doing.
They're
first
not big
kind
names.
of boxer, I'd
though.
say.
He makes them the big name.
No, Ben Askren.
No,
was
Ben
a big
Askren
name.
and Tyron Woodley are big names.
Their name got bigger once he called them out.
Yeah, he
Can't
brought
deny
them back
that.
to the spotlight.
I don't know if
You know what I
Tyron
mean?
Woodley's name, Ben Askren did. I don't know if Tyron Woodley's name got bigger. I think his name's getting smaller for doing this, honestly.
I think his name's getting a little bigger, but I don't think it's.
It's keeping him relevant, but I don't know if it's doing
I-
anything to his
relevant.
name.
I don't
Yeah,
say
A
it's.
whole nother generation knows the dude now. A bunch of 12 and 13-year-olds know who Tyron Woodley is all of a sudden.
I mean, does that...
It's a different following that Jake Paul
Right.
has, so it does make sense.
Right.
I'm just really.
He's getting
hoping
more
he gets
views,
put on
but
his
he's
ass.
not adding anything to his legacy. If he
No.
beats Jake Paul, they're like,
He's
Yeah.
adding a
Getting his brand
paycheck.
out
That's
there.
what he's adding. A paycheck, and people are going to listen to my shitty raps.
Way more than the UFC.
yo, wouldn't it be
ever
great if he like fucking did like he
Plugged it
promoted his
afterwards?
raps? Wouldn't that be great?
drops another one.
Oh God.
All right, that's about gonna do it for your MMA Complete. Anybody else? Anybody got anything left to say?
No, we could end it. We could keep going for another hour.
Check out UFC. Check out the UFC live stream reactions we do for every single UFC pay-per-view. I'm going to be doing it June 12th and July 10th, and then August 9th for the next 3 pay-per-views. We do it for every pay-per-view. We go 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. to cover the full main card plus the prelims. The last couple pay-per-views have been so much fun,
What's
and
August
we've
9th?
had August 9th is UFC 265.
Ooh, what about July 24th?
July 24th is Fury Wilder. What day is that? Oh, that'd be a Saturday, wouldn't it? We'll see. We'll see. It's a Saturday.
Okay.
So we might do that too. Stay tuned if you want to know if we are going to do it and check out where we're going to do it. Make sure you tune in next week.
What's the score of the Bruins?
So that is going to do it for us. Check out Bet the Deed podcast every Thursday night at 7, MMA Complete podcast every Thursday night at 8 p.m., where we will be going live every week. So we're going to see you guys next week before the UFC pay-per-view. Unfortunately, we can't do the boxing pay-per-view this weekend, which sucks. But we'll definitely be talking about that next week for our podcast. So check that out
we
to see
could.
what we say.
He could.
I won't be here. I'll be picking up car parts.
And just show love to Naked Sports. That's Naked Sports, no space on YouTube. And Fans Only Sports. That's Fans Only Sports, sports with a Z on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram.
A lot of good wrestling
Twitch.
on YouTube
Yeah.
I've been seeing lately from fans.
All
on
that
sports.
MMA Complete on YouTube.
Show some love. Thank you everybody
Twitter,
for
too.
tuning in. Thank you everybody for the following. We've been getting better and better every week, so we appreciate all the love and show the support.
Should be coming up.
Also, go check out
100,000 views.
nakedsports.com. I think we passed 100,000.
We did pass 100,000.
Pretty sure, yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
nakedsports.com, where we are highlighting the Yard Olympics, which will be July 10th, which is like a adult field day. We're going to be having a bunch of sports, and you and 3 of your friends join as a team, and the winning team gets a huge prize at the end. There's also going to be sponsorships from the likes of Gatorade, Quest Bars,
Cash prizes, right?
gift card prizes from our sponsors, and Naked Sports merchandise. That's actually pretty cool.
What's the date of this?
July 10th.
July 10th.
July 10th, Goddard Park in Warwick, Rhode Island, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Yard Olympics. Check
Gonna
it
be a
out
good
on
day.
nakedsports.com, where we actually are posting. I'm actually posting a lot of articles that are really pretty good, I think. So go check that out as well.
They're trash. Don't check them out.
That's going to do
Oh,
it for
fuck
us
it.
on MMA Complete. Another one of the books. Next week is MMA Complete episode 50.
When are we coming up?
Yeah,
on
And
big
Bet the
5-0.
Deed episode 10
When are we coming up on a year?
for MMA Complete.
It's
Technically next week is a year.
soon. Really?
Technically next week is a year because we missed 2 episodes.
Okay.
So next week is a year. So we'll have a special podcast planned out. It'll be
A
so
big
great. We're gonna do
fiesta.
something
Yeah,
super
we
cool.
might have
It's gonna be
lights.
awesome. We might do giveaways, whatever.
Blowhorn.
So you can only know if you check us out next week, though.
Fucking-
Thank you everybody for tuning in.
fucking
We
cake.
appreciate all the love. We'll see you next week, where we'll only be a couple days away from Adesanya Vittori.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Adesanya's
awesome.
going to win.
Vitori's
Adesanya's going to win.
Vittori.
Adesanya's going to knock him out in the
Vittori's gonna
first round.
smother him in the 5th round.
Dude, Logan Paul's going to knock out Floyd Mayweather.
Okay, all right.
All right, I'm going to
Funny.
get out of here. Thank everybody for tuning in.